Hello, this is Python Poker, and today I'm going to do an update video. I have not posted a video in a while, but I have been playing. So since the last video, I decided to go 100% of my volume for 10NL instead of doing the 2NL. I think I maximized my win rate at 2NL, and it's time to move up to the 10NL. Now again, on the WPT Gold, there's no 5NL stake. It goes from 2NL to 10NL ante-game. So the 2NL, again, is kind of a deep stack game, so you can kind of think of it as a 4NL game structure. But I am now playing the 10NL ante-game, which is, for the most part, deep stack. Most players buy in at 200 bigs. Anyway, the range could be like 100 to 200 bigs. For the most part, players play at 200 bigs. However, I'm just going to start doing 100 bigs. I like playing that way so I can polarize my stack better. So maybe in the future we'll play more deep stack. But for the time being, we're just going to play some 100 bigs. So I've played about 2 weeks of the 10NL game. I'm looking at my Discord right now. If you haven't looked at the Discord, I've been documenting my process since last year until now on the blog. So I have more detailed notes and ways I'm approaching the game and how I'm adjusting my game as I make updates. So if you're interested in that, you can go in the link either to the video or previous information. I think there's a Discord link, but kind of gives you that. So week one of since doing the 4 tables of 10NL, so I usually play about 3 hours a day of 4 tables of 10NL, which gets me a decent volume, but I started the bankroll at 620. So I moved my whole bankroll from ACR to WPT Gold, and with some of the fees involved with the transition, I didn't get my full bankroll over, and also I just decided to put some of the bankroll into a separate account for rakeback. I'll talk about that in a second. But I started basically, for all intents and purposes, I think that's the right usage of that, was at 620.01. At the end of the week, about 10,000 hands. Got it up to 655. My error rate for this 10NL game was about 32%, which means that out of all my sections, I had at least one error in 32% of the sessions. Does that make sense? I don't know. But so basically it calculates my total sessions as the count, and my sessions range usually from 1 hour total of 4 tables, which gives me about 250 hands as like a stopping point. So I define that as one session, and a session could have 0 errors. I'll mark the session as 0 in my database, 0.25, which is a small error, 0.5, which is like a medium error, or 1, size 1 is like a large error. So that's kind of how the error structure is. It's just my own way to kind of figure out if I'm doing same or similar mistakes to my system. So here I kind of talk about my Berkshire Hathaway poker method. So it just helps me with the mental models to simplify the game flow in certain situations. I'll talk about that more in the future, but you can read on this blog more detailed interactions. But so that was the first week, and then I played another week where I started at the same, the 655 where the previous week left off, and I got up to 702. Now this is only 4,000 hands for the full week. I didn't play as much volume as I wanted to, but I did reduce my error rate, which is great. So we're just going to try to play at least, try to get 10,000 hands a week. I know it's a goal that's aggressive, but it's okay. I can see if I can do that. And if I fall behind, like let's say 7,000 hands to 8,000 hands, that's fine. The most important thing is just playing and putting in the volume for this opportunity cost. So yeah, as you can see here, my rake back was $3.09. So what I did was I took a portion of my bankroll, about $149 of my bankroll, and I deposited it into Robinhood, and I picked some stocks to apply that. It's part of my bankroll, but like I think it was like $160 or something like that. But I picked 4 stocks, so then I can deposit that bankroll as a way to get rake back. And so I'm defining my rake back as the stocks, if they increase, I get that rake back. So I only deposited $160 or so, and for that week I got that went up $3.09. That's why I'm defining it as my rake back on that bankroll. And in the future, I'm going to decide if I want to invest more into my rake back system of any of the profit that I get from the week, or just keep it in the bankroll. So there's going to be 2 main criteria that I use if I want to keep the profits and keep it stored in the bankroll or keep it stored in the rake back system. For the most part, the rake back system that I'm creating is going to help me with investments as well. So I am following Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger's investment models for poker and for investing in real life. So I'm kind of using this process of this poker vlog to help me, of course, get better at poker, but using some of those mental models that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger use for their investment strategies. Because in poker, you invest a certain contribution to your pot to get a future payout. And so their investment ideas and their mental models go hand in hand great for the poker game. To simplify your structures. Of course, you need to have theoretical knowledge for poker as well and learn the game, but those mental models will help me reduce my errors. That's what's been beneficial to me. Now, with the bankroll side of it, on the Robinhood for the additional portion of my bankroll to get my rake back, what I do is I'm using Charlie Munger's and Warren Buffett's approach for value investing to help increase my bankroll more instead of just the winning side in the poker games, if that makes sense. So, for example, I have 4 stocks that I have, and the 4 stocks that I've chose are stocks that I think are lower in value right now. So that's why I bought them right now. And I'm going to hold these. These are, as Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger talk about a lot in their talks and their books, is something called value investing, which means that you buy the stock and you plan on holding it for an indefinite amount of time. You just buy the company that's is going to be a rock star company over time, and you'll just see it go up. You don't want to sell the stock. So the funds that I have for this bankroll is just going to grow. So my total profit overall since doing this 10-0 game was the $30 from the previous round or week. It's about 3 buy-ins in addition to the the $47 from my last week plus my rake back. So it's about $80 or so. So the question is, do I keep that in the bankroll or deposit some of that into the rake back system that I created to increase the rake back? Currently, the deciding factor to invest in my rake back system or my stocks is to basically analyze the current structure of the market right now. At this point, I think it's better in a sense to hold off on investing more in the rake back system because I think the market is very high right now. Just my own personal feelings. Don't use this as any stock advice, but because I think inflation and just various indicators for the economy in the U.S. is lagging. So basically, I think the population is experiencing certain issues with inflation, different various prices that I think are very high, and it hasn't caught up to the market just yet. Especially also, there's some other things going on geopolitical wise that is influencing the market as well. So I'm going to keep the profit into the bankroll rather than the rakeback system for now. Just given the general market fluctuations, I think the market's going to go down more when I invest the profit into the rakeback system or stocks. I think it'll be valuable in the future whenever the market goes down to get better prices on the investments. Or if I have an existing stock that I think is just undervalued and it's at a discount, I will purchase the stock because I'm, of course, a long-term holder for value investing, which I think the stocks that I've chosen will outlive 20 plus years because they're good companies, they're good products. Therefore, if there's a certain value that I have on it that I think is strong, I will just keep adding to that. So anyway, long story short, that is what the rakeback system is talking about. So let's go ahead and play a game or two. I'm just going to do one table for now, so I can kind of really go through the thoughts. It may be a little boring, I guess, one table, but it'll give me an opportunity to discuss if things come up with the Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Berkshire poker method that I'm trying to formalize here. We'll do a game here. And let's see. We're going to see if we can find a decent game. Alright, so let's see if we can find a good table here. Try this one first. So what I'm looking for is to get a fish to my right. And 146 is not necessarily a fish, but it's a shorter stack, so I'll sit to this person's left. And we will play. As you can see, I put on auto reload and 100 bigs. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get a couple rounds in. Now, what I'm going to do now, since it's only one table and I can focus my full attention, is just give you all of my thoughts as I go through a hand here. Actually, I'm going to end this stand up here because it's only 4 people. I want to get to a table with lots of people in it. Instead of 4 people, I can get more interesting dynamics. So let's find a different table here. So this is an okay table, but I want to sit by the fish or the shorter stacks. So see if we can find a better table than that. Oh, that was the same table. Lobby. And we'll try this big table here. Alright, I'm just gonna sit here. Just play some hands. So we got auto top up on 100 bigs, and let's get going. So if you're trying to learn the game, this will hopefully help you out with some various thoughts that we have. More detail, the better, so you can get better at the game. And also we're going to add some structures from the Berkshire poker method and go from there. Alright, so we are currently having to post 1 BBs since we are trying to get in the game. And this person raised. Unfortunately, that's going to be enough for us to fold. Find a better opportunity. So in the system, we want to wait for the fat pitch as a default. So poker is a game where patience is a variable, and it's a very strong variable, to find the best opportunity to invest in a situation or spot where we can make the most money in the long run. So of course with variance, even if we're in a certain spot with an 80% equity of winning, there could be a situation where our opponent sucks out on us. However, in the long run, if we want to be a successful player, we want to find those spots, a high frequency of those spots, so we can be profitable. In that situation, wasn't a good situation to play in for the most part. So you will see me using that. So this person raised big. So with King 10, I want to open this. I can open this hand, but I want a 3-better fold for the most part pre-flop. And this is not a strong enough hand to 3-bet. So we're just going to fold that one. I'm going to look at the stats, 40-25. But if I'm not going to take a 3-bet for like when I do a 3-bet, it's got to be at least if I'm in position like 3x plus a little bit of extra BBs, so to give a worse price for someone to go over the top. And that hand is not strong enough. I mean, I could open that hand, King 10, especially with the ante game. You want to open up your range a little bit, but we're going to find a better spot for that King 10 combo in the future. So rule number 1 of Berkshire Poker is don't lose money. And that means that you're always put into a spot where you're going to be profitable and invest your money. So this 6-7 here, 6-7, right? It's not, I'm going to fold this hand because this is the hand that I currently want to play if I'm more deep stacked. So if I'm like 200 bigs or so, I might open like these drawing hands, as I call them, drawing hands like suited connectors, nut flush, high low, like for example ace 8 of suited, those kind of hands. Those are more drawing hands, which I could take advantage of deeper stacks to open. With a shorter stack of less than 100 bigs, I really want to open more of the top of the range, like high cards, ace jack, some suited cards like Jack 10. I'll open Queen 9, those kind of connectors, because the Queen will help me as well. I can win against some lower pocket pairs, have some chance. But those mid-range connectors, I want to wait until more deep stack to play those hands. That may be flawed. That's my current thoughts right now. And so that's rule 1 of don't lose money. And of course, I'm going to fold this one. Rule 2 of the system is don't forget rule 1, don't lose money. So if you want your bankroll to increase, the only way for it to increase is to not lose money. Okay, that's really obvious, right? But if you have that thought as rule 1 in your head, it kind of helps me analyze multiple factors and variables of a hand to ensure I don't lose money on the certain node. Here, we're going to open ace 8 here. We'll see if we get some action here. All right, this person to my direct left, 62 and 22. I think they're trying to isolate me. I mean, I'm gonna fold. Ace 10 suited, ace jack suited, I would call. But for example, with an ace 8 suited hand, I'm really hoping for one thing on the flop, 2 hearts, mainly, or trip 8s, like either a 6-6 there. Maybe I want to see 2 8s on the board there, or even an ace is good. However, we'll never know if our ace would be good, because person to my left, since they did open pretty high, they have all the ace 10s ace jacks, ace queens. So even if we hit an ace on the flop, we could be drawing dead even if we hit an ace. So it's a little speculative there. So we're going to fold that one and find a better spot. The person to my left seems to be a little aggressive. So we'll keep that in mind moving forward. Here's easy fold. So that's rule 1 and rule 2. And I have some of the rules and some shorts on the YouTube channel as well. So if you go into some of the shorts, you'll see I'm starting to post some of the rules. But some of the other rules that I've posted are wait for the fat pitch. So wait for the fat pitch just basically means find an opportunity where you're patient enough where it just falls in your hand to have a positive, profitable decision. Like everything aligns. It doesn't mean we're going to be hyper conservative when we play, but we just don't want to have some passive drift or lose funds, overall, if the situation's not positive for us. So Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger defined a fat pitch as, in baseball, you really have 3 strikes, and you strike out, of course, but in investing in stocks or in poker, you have an infinite time. So you can wait, ideally, for in a stock, for example, let's say you have a certain stock that you see a certain price, and the market every single day says, here's the price that we're looking at, but you don't have to buy that ever until it's a perfect price for you. And in here, in poker, it's the same thing. We want to wait for the opportunity and the time to make a decision profitable, so we can, in the long run, win. So we're going to wait for the fat pitch here. Here, this person opened 5x. They're kind of wide, 40 and 25. We are going to 3-bet over the top, though. And we'll see if this person, they called the big stack, and they called. So king is good for my range here. So I'm going to continuation bet. Especially since I'm the aggressor pre-flop. King hits my range very hard. So if I'm deciding on a continuation, the king suits best for my in position raise range. So we can definitely range bet that board. Even though the jacks are probably good, we could have any kind of combo here. Let's say we're trying to be a little sneaky and raise some suited connectors that we don't hit with, like Jack 10 suited. We could still bet those as well. We're gonna raise on top of this individual to my right. I want to be in the habit of going into a pot with aggression. And here, we can continuation bet this board, even though it hits the small blind's range more than ours. But we do have a queen. We're just gonna bet. We're just gonna bet. I'm just gonna check. Actually, I ran out of time. I was gonna bet small though. Here we can call. At this point, I'm just gonna check my equity at this point. And we're probably going to chop to some ace highs, but I think a jack or 10 might have bet, or some type of draws would bet. We're going to win. We're going to lose some at showdown, but we're going to win some as well. So we did chop with an ace there. I think if I did do a continuation bet on the flop, we probably would have taken it down. But I was running out of time there, trying to talk through the logic there. But in retrospect, I probably should have continuation bet small on that board. But some of the situations I was thinking in that spot was that board hits the the blinds range and the callers range more than mine. So I was kind of running out of time there going through that. But, we did get to see Showdown and get to chop with an ace. But that was our logic on that one. So that's basically waiting for the fat pitch. I mean, these are just basic rules. So when you can have the structure in our head, it's just like a placeholder to help remind us to be patient. Like, wait for the fat pitch. We need to be patient, find a better spot. So that's that rule. Another rule is to define your circle of competence and then stay inside of it. So, for example, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, their circle of competence is mainly value investing and finding great companies with great moats. A moat is a situation that you can think of as outside of a company that makes it harder for competition to come into the company. Of course, whenever we have like a castle, you think of a moat, keeping it protected. Strong businesses have these moats. For example, NVIDIA has a moat of AI hardware, so it's harder to have competition. Here, we're just going to, since we're closing the action, we're just going to call the 3 bigs and hopefully hit a nice flop. Here, we're just going to check. We do have a backdoor draw. Unfortunately, if one of our drawing cards hits and it's a heart, not great. So we're going to find a better spot here. This person's going all in. Most likely they have a king or a heart, 1 heart, ace of heart type of hands. We'll see what they show up with. Did have the king and they had 2 pair. So that's why they jammed there. Okay, so this person's raising small, 39.15. If I call, I think what's going to happen is this big person to my left is going to raise. I'm going to see if I can call, though, because sometimes if you call, as you can see here, the big blind does close the action sometimes when they call. This person here is about to bet, is the initial aggressor. So they're going to continuation bet. For the most part, players at these pools over continuation bet, so they could have nothing at this point. But we do have 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw, so we can continue. I'm not going to check too fast because I don't want to give away the strength of my hand, so I'm just going to give a reasonable size check here. This person's continuing to bet, so most likely they might have an overpair or drawing card, or they're scared of a flush to hit, or some continue. I didn't pick up any additional equity, so I'm going to fold. Okay, well, there's a queen, so most likely the queen's good there, but we'll see what they're betting. They could still have a straight or probably jacks or 10s at this point. Maybe they're just betting a flush draw and continuation betting, but we're going to get away on that one. Nothing crazy. So define the circle of competence. So for the circle of competence, this basically just means play your game. Whenever we're playing a hand, we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, but we want to live in those strengths and stay out of the weakness category when we're playing a poker hand, just so we can make the easy decisions. I didn't document this next rule yet on the channel, but in the future we'll have another mental approach that we're trying to do called making easy decisions. For the most part, don't be stupid is another rule. So there's easy decisions, there's hard decisions. If it's a hard decision, stay away from it. Let's just focus on our circle of competence on certain situations, certain lines, certain pre-flop, certain combos that we are going to be profitable over the long run, and just stay in that situation. Like, for example, me, I'm not over bluffing on large pots. I'm going to bluff more on small pots, like single raise pots, that kind of structure, and letting my opponent bluff and me picking off their bluffs. And also transition my bluffs then into bigger pots to thick value bets is kind of what I'm doing. So that's my circle of competence right now, until I, of course, evolve my game and improve some other tactics as well. But that's kind of where I want to live. Easy or hard decisions, or if you're unsure, just fold and find a better spot. This is just for this is help people trying to beat 2-0 on WPT Gold. If you have these structures on your mind, you'll have a positive win rate just by not doing stupid things. Like Charlie Munger is big on don't be stupid, and basically let your opponents make mistakes. Don't give your opponents free money, kind of thing, with your errors that you make. So this is why I'm big on capitalizing and documenting my error rate and trying to reduce my errors, because that's a way I can force myself not to be stupid in those situations. Another one of Charlie Munger's mental models is know where you're going to die and don't go there, basically. And for poker terms, we're going to open King Jack here under the gun, 4 bigs. The person to my left did open 16 bigs last time I opened up 4 bigs from under the gun. This time they just called, which means they probably have a hand class similar to what I have in my range here. Overall 62 and 12, so they're kind of wide, so it looks like they're calling a lot. The jack is very good for me. Instead of checking, an option is to check or to bet here. I think betting overall is more profitable in the long run than checking, because it can check in position, could check as well, and they'll just have another card there. A 4 definitely hits the range of the person that calls with. Most likely they could have some king highs, ace highs, and a worse jack, so I'm going to continuation bet here. 66% pot ish, and we'll see what they do. Okay, so they did end up raising here. And so one of the structures that we're going to have is when an opponent raises that big, they under raise in these sort of situations. So we're just going to fold and find a better spot. Unfortunately, calling, I am now considering an error to call re-raise from these individuals that I play against. I should have looked at their stats first, but they're kind of a little on the tighter end. But I'm basically just over folding to re-raises. And if you play against me, I guess you can use that as an advantage on your end when you're playing against me. So we do have a pair. It's an over pair. I'm going to call because he could be betting ace highs as well as non-connected hands to the flop there. We're just going to call one there and see what they do. So they did check back. I do have some good showdown value. I think I'm just going to check my equity, and if they bet small, I might call a small bet. But most likely they have ace high, okay, or they had a smaller pair, which is fine. But that's the kind of the range I was putting them on. They're going to over continuation bet at this pool, and they will have lots of ace highs and king highs in their range. So with the pair of sixes, since we had a higher pair to 2 of the cards on the board, it's okay there to take a turn there on that card. But so over time, I might even do a series on stocks as well. I'm not an expert at picking stocks, but I'm trying to get better at it. So, with the rake back system that I created, maybe we'll see how that performs compared to the bankroll. And it might help if I'm trying to shot take in the future. If my rake back continues to compound, we can use some of that rake back stock market performance to help out there. I'm gonna open ace jack from the button, especially against a too small size for these 2 players, and we'll see what happens. Last time I did this, I did a continuation bet on the flop. This does hit my range, so I'm gonna bet small though. And here I have an ace out, and I have a 10 out as well. So this also does hit my range as well, so I can do a continuation bet there. Here they did call, so they most likely have a drawing hand, or they could have one of those cards. We're just going to check and get a card for free. All right, well, we did hit the straight. Backdoor flush does get there, but I'm going to raise, and I want to raise to an amount that they'll call, so I'm going to raise 57. Alright. On that point, the reason why I say I want to raise to an amount that they'll call is if I go all in there, sure, we might win some in the long run. I'm going to fold the twos here while I'm talking about this hand. So if we do go all in there, we could scare our opponent away. So when I raise, I want to get to a certain size that they will call. So I look at their stack size, which is about 300 big as compared to the pot size. And so that's why I raised about 50 BBs or so, because that's like a decent amount of pot odds that they would have, and I think a king would call with. If they would have raised over the top, I'm tending to overfold to aggression in these stakes, because most of the players in this pool are passive. But in that situation, the reason why we played that hand on the flop and is to get that opportunity to get that nut straight there. And if we're just gonna call, we can't act like we're scared of a backdoor flush draw. We're gonna bet the value, that the minimum size that we want to have there for the re-raise. And luckily we got a call. They did call with a king. Two pair would call, king would call. That re-raise, I think the minimum a pair of kings would probably call. But for the most part, successful raise there, because we don't want to go all in because that scares people away. If we have the nuts or near nuts, we want to get value, just so we can compound our bankroll over time. So every single day when I play, I want to think through my errors to get better with my clarity or my decision making. So the next day I play better, and I play better, and I play better, because your win rate is a lagging indicator of your poker skill, and however your clarity and your understanding of the game through thousands of hands that we play will get better every single day. As long as we have these structures in place, we have these mental models to help us reduce errors. And as you can see here, I did fold a few times when I got a re-raise, and I'm picking the best spots to make a profitable play. And hindsight bias, I guess, we have a 200 big stack, but we don't want to just play to play, right? We want to play in profitable situations. So we're happy with that. So I'm going to wrap this video up soon. I only got to play one table, but this video was mainly just to give you an update on where we are in our current status. Going to play the 10-0 ante-game for the rest of our poker career. We're not going back down to 2-0. Our bankroll survived. We started the 622. And of course I have some in the rake back system as well. So some of that bankroll is proportioned to help me with some rake back on the stock that we're also doing an experiment on that. But we didn't lose the whole bankroll. So I think 10-0 is fine. The decisions are pretty much easy at this point. I have some things that I can improve as well. But for the most part, we're going to stay at this structure from here on out. Let's see if we can get an interesting hand as our last hand. Ace King, pretty good hand. This individual is raising 40-25, jamming or calling for the most part. We're just going to call, see if we can get some other callers in here. Ace King suited, I might raise over the top. Ace King offsuit, we're just going to take our equity here, and if he doesn't bet, we're just going to check. Let's see if we can get a turn card for free. And I don't want to check too fast, so I'm just going to check. Jack would be not even help us, basically. They did bet small. Okay. We're just going to fold. I'm just going to sit out. And we're going to stand up. And we'll call that the video for today. So thanks for watching. Follow that Discord blog for just more details into our structure and our thought process. And we'll see you next time.